Greetings, fellow Kerbonauts. Welcome to Kerbal Space Program. My name is Rice. I am a KSP Minimalist, and this is the Minimalist Shuttle Program. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be taking a more deliberate route in the Minimalist Shuttle Program, and we're going to start doing a wingless shuttle system. It's been a while, hasn't it, since our last episode? Ooh. Things have been a little bit busier on the home front, and as a result, unfortunately, I don't have as much time as I used to anymore. However, I have been getting a lot of messages lately from people asking me to continue to do more episodes with the Minimalist program. So we are going to do just that. Unfortunately, to be able to do that, we're going to have to cut a few corners. And there's going to be two things we're going to have to simplify. The first one is that we are going to start doing these videos in the raw. And when I say we, I pretty much mean me. In the past, I used to take all these videos and I would post-render them and then post-commentate them and then add in the sound effects and a few masking effects after that. However, I don't have time to do that anymore. Rendering videos is an all-day process. So we are going to be doing all of this in the raw, which means you're going to see all of my mistakes. You're going to hear me stumble all over my words, and a lot of this is going to be live commentary rather than post commentary. So be prepared for that. And second, I did mention that we were going to do everything via space shuttle, and we were going to do everything shuttle-like. Unfortunately, as we progress through these episodes, and as you see me do all this stuff live and in the raw, it can start to get a little more mundane seeing me land the space shuttle back at the airport over and over and over again. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to break that rule. And we are still going to do reusability of sorts. This is still a shuttle. However, it's a shuttle with parachutes rather than wings. As you can see, the parachutes are stored right here in this centerpiece. This piece belongs to the Bobcat Home mod. And what's really neat about it is it does the work of about 5 parachutes. So I can do 5 parachutes worth of heavy load coming back into the atmosphere using only one piece, and that definitely helps us out with keeping parts to a minimum. And then at the bottom we have our landing legs here, also from the Bobcat mod, and this helps us land the shuttle all as one piece, believe it or not. When beforehand, if we used the stock parts, we'd have to use an extra 4 pieces worth of landing legs to land this shuttle. So overall, this shuttle has roughly about 22 parts. And by roughly, I mean exactly 22 parts. Excuse me. So we're still keeping to proper minimalism here. What we're going to do next is we're going to load in the payload onto this wingless shuttle. Now, this wingless shuttle has a carrying capacity of approximately 15 tons. And the vehicle weighs, I want to say about 20 tons, actually. So let's go ahead and start building the next part of our space station. Now, some people want to see how I designed this stuff, so I think this is only the second time you've seen me in the VAB. So here's my build process. We're going to take this docking port here, and I'm going to attach it to the bottom booster, and then we're going to build everything from the bottom booster. Now, why am I building from the bottom booster rather than building from inside the cargo bay up here? Well, there's a reason behind that. And what's curious about this is if I try to build from inside this bay, let me go ahead and say attach a docking port here. So let's throw a docking port right here in the bottom. Okay. And if I try to attach another docking port, it's going to be tough. It's actually next to impossible. And the reason is because these parts have radial clip enabled. And when you have when you can attach things radially, it makes it really difficult to attach things to the top of the cargo bay. However, it works for parts that don't have radial to them, and that's things like this crew can. You notice the two orbs, the two docking points at the top and the bottom. I can just attach this and wha-bam. See, it latches on inside the cargo bay. Pretty cool, huh? Unfortunately, it only works for objects that clip up and down. Objects that clip radially, for example, let me go ahead and grab a fuel canister here. You notice how it clips all over the place? It attaches itself on the outside and the inside. It makes it almost impossible to attach. That will not fly, I guarantee. So, what we're going to do is we're going to load a new file, and we are going to build the part from the beginning. Okay, so the next piece that we're going to send into orbit is the fuel and power module. So what we're going to do is we're going to build everything from the bottom of the booster. There we go. We already have 2 living cans up there, so it can hold 8 Kerbals. However, we also need to set up that station as to have minor refueling ability. It's not going to be our major refueling station, but it is going to serve some minor fuel loading role. Later on, we're going to build a separate set of space stations. One's going to be a transit space station, and the other one is going to be a fuel depot. So we're going to have about 3 major space stations up there. In order to stay with the minimalist concept, you have to specialize your space stations. You can't focus everything on one single space station and have essentially an everything space station. Because if you have an everything space station, you're going to have a station that's over 100 pieces at least. If you build separate space stations, each with their own specialization, you can conserve part count. It's also a lot cooler, too, to have more stuff in orbit. So, we're going to go ahead and put in this fuel can here, and then we're going to put in this monopropellant. Now we're going to disengage the fuel here so it can't be consumed while we send this thing up into space. And let's see. We're going to have an attachment down here at the bottom. Okay, now we need power. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach some solar panels to the side here. Okay, and perfect. Next, some additional docking ports. There we are. Now, something that's interesting about the space station up there is that there are no lights on the station up there. So we need to have lights on this module itself. So let's go and attach some lights. 4 should do it. And we're going to tilt the lights down. Okay, and perfect. Look at that. Okay, so now we've got our fuel module set and ready to go. Let's go ahead and take our cargo. Huh. Well, looks like we already have a bit of cargo up there. Well then, okay. Neat. I did not anticipate that in this save file. So we're going to scrap the one that we already have, and we're actually going to use this one instead. Because this one already has a crew can attached to it, has some light refueling capability. This one's going to be perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch this bad boy. Alright, so now we wait for a little bit for this thing to load. I was a bit worried with doing this series on this computer because, as I said earlier, this computer is running at slightly over 2 gigahertz. It has a pretty good video card. However, it is running a good number of mods. The B9 mod, the home mod, the home Bobcat mod, and a few mods in addition to that. However, it seems to be holding up pretty good. Okay. go ahead and close the doors, and let's go ahead and throttle up. Bill and Jebediah, I hope you are ready, gentlemen. Let's go ahead and turn on the cockpit lights. Fuel looks good. And let's go ahead and step out into the map screen. And there is our station. The Kerbal National Space Station at 100 kilometers. Okay, and what we're going to do is we are going to speed up time a little bit here. There we go. So the station is just barely almost coming on top of us. Good. Okay. Here we go. Throttling up and preparing for launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. And there we go. Okay. And so we, as is pretty obvious, we are on version 23.5, which has the new 3.75 meter parts, and they are just absolutely gorgeous. Look at these guys. And plus the flames coming out of them. It's just beautiful. Plus these new SRBs are absolutely amazing. They help cut down on the part counts so that we don't have to attach a ton of other stuff onto this thing to lift off. As a matter of fact, look at this. We have 6 SRBs and 3 fuel tanks and 1 engine attached on just the lifting body. And of course, we have the 6 radial decouplers and the 6 struts. In total, let's take a look at the part count. We are at 59 parts, which is actually really respectable, especially for launching something as big as this Wingless Shuttle here. Okay, and we are approaching 3,800 meters and 150 meters per second. Okay, we are doing good. And SRBs are down to 1/4 fuel. We're getting ready to detach those SRBs any moment now. Now I still have everything at full throttle, but I've never had to worry about the main engines on the new 3.75 meter parts overheating all the way. They always seem to stop just before they reach the maximum overheat limit, which is really neat. I don't have to worry about that. Okay, preparing to detach SRBs. SRBs are away. Okay, and we are going into our centrifugal turn, turning us very slowly. Very, very slowly, because we're losing a little bit of speed. I don't want to turn us suddenly to 45 degrees. I want to make sure that we start gaining speed before we do our turn. Okay, and it looks good, so we're going to turn us relatively slowly. Perfect. Okay, and we're moving into our centrifugal turn at 45 degrees. Now, some people have asked me, why do you call it a centrifugal turn and not a gravity turn? Well, a gravity turn is kind of a misnomer. It's not really a gravity turn per se. You're not using the force of gravity of Kerbal to tilt your vehicle off to the side and reorientate things. And the true term for it is a centrifugal turn. There we go. And we are at 45 degrees. Perfect. And approaching 450 meters per second. And our speed is accelerating quite well. We've got nice, healthy acceleration. Good. Okay. And generally we want to speed up until we reach an orbital velocity of about 1,300 meters per second. Roughly about 1,400. So we still need to keep jetting along. Our fuel is looking really good. Okay, and actually that surface speed doesn't really match our orbital speed. Let's go ahead and switch over to our orbital speed. Perfect, we're almost there already. Okay, and we are at 1 kilometer a second, approaching 35 kilometer altitude. Okay, and how are we doing there, Bill and Jeb? Bit stone-faced there. Cheer up, guys. We're going back to the space station. Okay, at 1,200 meters per second. We're almost there. Let's go and head on to the map view, and look at that. We are already reaching an apoapse that goes directly into space. So we're going to keep jetting along till we reach about 85 kilometers. Oops. 85 kilometers. And we are at MECO, main engine cutoff. Okay, and now we are going to plot for our insertion burn. Let's see here. Normally when I orbit around Kerbal, I don't really necessarily need to plot a whole lot of nodes. As a matter of fact, I don't really need to use my maneuver nodes to plot insertion burns anyways. This is mostly just as a formality. I can normally do it. Do almost every orbital operation without using any maneuver nodes at all. But I do like to see the amount of delta V required to do certain things, like this orbital insertion burn. Okay, here we go. So we're going to turn us very carefully. We've got a little bit of a wobble going on here, but nothing too much to be worried about. We are almost in space here and approaching 70 kilometers. And perfect! We are at 70 kilometers. Now is a good time to save. Okay, and turning us very slowly. I'm going to turn off SAS so that I can coast into that turn. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and open up our solar panels. That way we can collect, recharge our batteries while we're up here. Okay, and we are turning ever so slowly. There we go. Coming right into our node. Perfect, and we're going to lock it with SAS and do a slight time warp so that we lock everything in place. Okay, and saving again. And we've got plenty of fuel, actually. Actually, we got more than enough fuel we need to complete our insertion burn. Okay, so we're going to start at about 23 seconds. Actually, we're going to start at about 25 seconds to give ourselves enough time to throttle up to 100%. There we go. And throttling up. And beginning our insertion burn. Okay. And everything looks pretty healthy. Everything is still together. If you notice, this wingless shuttle is actually not attached via struts at all to the decoupling node. A really neat improvement to the Unity engine that this game runs on. I believe it's on Unity 5 now. Is that a lot of the connections are reinforced, so there's a lot less need for struts now, which is really cool because it helps us save on part count. Okay, and we are almost there. Let's go and head on to the map view and check to see how our orbit is going. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, and perfect. We are officially in space. Well, we were in space before, but now we are permanently in space until we decide not to be not to be permanently in space anymore. Okay. How much fuel do we have left in our vehicle? Oh, we're still doing excellent here. Okay. So, what we are going to do is we actually need to match planes. We're off by 2.5 degrees, so we're going to have to fix that. What we're going to do is we're going to zip along our orbit. Actually, we're getting really close to the station, so while we're here, let's go ahead and increase our periapse. Oh boy, this is getting a little bit tough to maneuver here with the lifting rocket attached to our main shuttle. Actually, what we're going to do is after we finish this burn, we're going to eject our lifting rocket. So we're just going to turn very slowly into our prograde at 90 degrees. Okay, and perfect. And now we're going to lift our periaps. Okay, and we're going to bring our periaps up to 95 kilometers. We're also going to lift our, are actually going to circularize our orbit at about 95 kilometers. Actually, we can do a little bit better than that. Let's see if we can bring it up to 98 kilometers. There we go. Okay. We're coming up on that space station really fast. So, what we're going to do is we're going to eject our rocket here. And complete waste of fuel, but we don't need it, and it's going to hinder us more than help us with this elephant strapped to our back. Okay. Oh boy, we need to. Our apps is at 99 kilometers now. It's a little bit much. We're going to make it work though. Okay, and then we need to match planes with the space station. The fact that we're off by 2.5 degrees means we're going to be off by quite a bit as we approach the station. So this is an ascending node, which means we need to turn our spacecraft here south to 180 degrees so that we can match the planes. Oh, this is a lot more maneuverable. This is, oh boy, this is a lot more maneuverable now since we don't have that that rocket hindering us. Okay, and then we're going to throttle up, and we are going to zero out that node. Okay, 2 degrees, 1.9. Oh, we may have to do this again. Because I don't think we're going to be able to zero out this plane. And we may have to circle around until we hit the descending node to zero this out. But if we can get this at about half a degree, that should be good enough to carry us over to the descending node. Okay, and we are at half a degree. 4, good. Can we bring it to 0.3? Yes, can we bring it to 0.2? 0.2! Okay, that's about as good as we're going to get for right now until we hit the next node, which is that descending node. Okay, let's go ahead and swing around over to our apps. All right, 92 kilometers. Okay, and approaching our... Oh, man. Oh, that apps. Actually, that is not our apps. Oh boy, I'm just plain confused today, aren't I? That green apps is actually just the space station's apps, not my spacecraft's apps, which is at a respectable 97 kilometers. Let's go ahead and lift our periaps here. And because our apps is behind us, I'm going to lift my vehicle up about 45 degrees. And what that is going to do is that's going to draw my apps toward my spacecraft. There we go. See how it's approaching my spacecraft? That way I don't push away my apps and unnecessarily increase it. Okay, and 95, 92, 92. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on both apps and periaps so I can keep track on both of these guys here. And I'm going to dip my nose down just a little bit. Okay. Alright. So now my apps is ahead of me. So we're going to do the opposite, and we're going to dip our nose below the horizon. Okay, and we're at 94 kilometers on the periaps. 95, 96, and let's see if we can get it to 97. 97, perfect. Okay, so at the very least, we're going to be approaching the space station at about 3 kilometers out, which is perfect, actually. Okay, and we're approaching our descending node. So we're going to turn our spacecraft north. There we are. So we can zero out the plane Okay, good. And we're already approaching the descending node here. Let's get a little bit closer before we start our burn. And then starting our burn. Point 1 and almost at point 0. Point 0. Can we get it to NAN? Yes! We are at NAN, not a number, which is about as close as you're going to get to zeroing out the planes as possible. Okay. Now, all we've got to do is just coast to our space station. So we're going to speed up time. 80 kilometers, 79, 70, 77, 76. Okay. We're going to do here is, actually, we're going to save, and then we're going to go back into the Space Center. And we're going to take advantage of the amazing new feature that comes with 23.5 as soon as we load here. There we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and head over to the tracking station. Okay, and into the tracking station we go. Oh man, I need to rename that shuttle. Okay, and we'll speed up time. The new feature added to 23.5, the ability to speed up time in the tracking station. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, and we're going to speed it up a little bit more. Perfect. Okay, and as a matter of fact, we kind of overshot it just a little bit, but that's okay. This one is an easy fix. Okay, and actually what we're going to do, the first thing we need to do when we get back to our space shuttle here is we need to appropriately. So we're going to call you the Pegasus. Kind of an ironic name for a wingless shuttle, right? Because Pegasus has wings, but this one does not. Unless you want to pretend that those solar panels are wings. Okay, so let's go and turn us about. Now, from here, it's just a matter of jetting toward our target. So let's go ahead and turn us accordingly. And of course, I take the long way around to turn. RCS is looking good. Okay, and we're going to turn towards the target. And actually, let's go and head into the retrograde marker here and slow us down a little bit. And we're going to boost forward. Okay, perfect. And now we jet forward. Let's see if we can push to 20 meters per second, which is pretty respectable. Good. We're at 20 meters per second. And we're going to speed up time. Here we go. 5 kilometers, 4 kilometers. Okay. And then we need to reorientate our prograde marker. But before we do that, we actually need to slow ourselves down a little bit. Orientating prograde and retrograde markers are a little bit easier when you're not going so fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to orient actually the retrograde marker toward the pink marker here. There we go. And then we're going to switch back to prograde again. And jet along again. And reorientate our prograde marker right over the pink target marker. Perfect. 12 meters per second is exactly what we want. Let's RCS just a little bit to adjust. Okay. And. Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to speed up time. Okay, and we've rendered the station, so now we are in visual range. Now it's just a matter of switching back over to our retrograde marker, and we need to do this relatively quickly because we are coming up on them pretty fast. Okay, and retrograde, and we're going to push the retrograde marker back over to the pink marker again so that we can indicate that we are approaching the station rather than going slantwise of it. Okay, perfect. And we're just a bit over it. Let's push the marker just a little bit more. And perfect. Okay. We're going to need to go just a tad bit faster. So let's go ahead and turn prograde again. Okay, and there we go. And we're going to move our prograde marker over the pink marker. Perfect. Okay. Let's push ourselves to about 10 meters per second. And fuel is looking good. Okay, and we are at 10.4 meters per second to the target. And then we're going to turn ourselves over in preparation to slow ourselves down. Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to speed up time. And towards the station we go. Oh boy, we're going pretty fast now. We need to slow down in a hurry. Oh boy, underestimated things a little bit. Okay, 1.7 meters per second. We need to slow down just a little bit more, but we can... 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 meter per second. Perfect. Okay. We're going to turn on our lights so that we can see our target. And we are going to point ourselves, prograde again, towards the pink marker. Come on, RCS. Don't fail me. RCS is a little bit of an overkill. The reaction wheels on this thing is more than enough. As a matter of fact, let me go and turn off the RCS here. Actually, let me turn on the RCS again. I need a maneuver. But turning the craft, you really don't need RCS to turn this craft, because the reaction wheels that come with the B9 mod are more than enough. As a matter of fact, they're kind of a borderline cheat, if you think about it. But that's okay. I don't mind. There we go. Okay. So now we are on approach to the station. Now, as you can see, we are coming right towards the main body of the station. As you can see from the prograde marker here too, we're going to hit the bottom crew can. We want to go toward the top so that we can dock our vehicle accordingly. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift our prograde marker above our center. And then we are going to speed along. There we go. See how we lift over the station? Now we're going to drop our prograde marker back toward the center again, and that indicates that we're going to drift towards the center line. There we are. As a matter of fact, we're close enough now we don't need to go 1 meter per second. So let's go ahead and slow us down to about 0.4 meters per second, which is pretty respectable. And in we go. Coming in nice and slow. Pretty majestic, huh? This is actually a really careful, beautiful ballet if you think about it, which belies the fact that we're going something like 2 kilometers per second, actually. Okay, we're going to slow ourselves down and bring us down to close to 0 meters per second. We are above the space station now. And what we're going to do is we're going to spin us around. Let's hope. First, turn off the RCS. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so let's hope those solar panels don't hit the station. Going to turn us around, and perfect. Okay, and then we are going to open up the docking shield, control from here, and what we're going to do is we're going to dock with the station. Okay, and there's our amazing Navy Fish docking alignment mod here, and we're going to use that to help us dock. Let's turn us to, there we go, to 270 degrees. Perfect. Oops, just a little bit more. Okay, and then let's reorientate our craft accordingly. Perfect. We are almost perfect on the alignment here. And what we're going to do next is let's go ahead and RCS. So we need to RCS up and slightly to the left. go. What you don't see when in my previous videos is that you see me speed up time quite a bit. And most of the time when I play this game when I play this game by myself without recording this for videos, like when I'm playing on my personal file, I take my time when I do this. I don't normally speed up the video or speed up time or use physical time warp or anything of that matter, because I just love I love docking. If you've been following me on my previous episodes, you would know that I absolutely love docking, and I love taking my time while docking. There's something soothing about it all. Okay, so we are coming in a little bit too slow, actually. Let's go and increase speed. Now, as you can see, this CVEL indicator down here at the bottom right is how fast we are approaching our target. And as you can see, we are approaching at 0.06 meters per second. And over down here at the bottom, it rounds up to 0.1 meters per second. So there's a little bit of inaccuracy there between this and the docking alignment indicator off to the right. But that's okay. Okay, and let's go ahead and speed up a little bit. Let's push ourselves to about 0.1 meters per second. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to hit the caps lock key, and we're going to go into fine-tune mode here. Okay, and ever so slowly. Now the DST off to the bottom left corner of the dock alignment shows that we are at 5.4 meters towards the target, which is this docking port down here. Okay, we are almost there. Okay, and let's do just some really fine jets to equalize us. Okay, perfect. Coming in nice and easy. Okay, and 3.9 meters to target. And 3.6, 3.5, 3.4. At any moment now, the magnetics should take over. Magnetics usually take over when we hit anywhere between 1 meter to 2 meters to the target. And we're moving in pretty close here. Okay, and here we are. Look at that. Simply beautiful. We are lined up. Love this docking indicator. Let's go ahead and retract our panels. Okay, and. Okay. There we are. Perfect. And, okay. We have a problem I didn't take into account, unfortunately. This is a bit of a concern. If when we oh boy. We got a little bit of a wobble going on here. Let's turn off the SAS here and speed up time so we can lock it. Perfect. I wonder. Yeah, we have a little bit of an issue here. This module right here is supposed to be attaching to the docking port that the shuttle is attached to. Oh boy. Okay, so we're going to have to undock. But first, let's reorientate the station again and bring that to face south. That wobble kind of killed us a little bit, so. And there we go. We'll lock that in place to 180 degrees. Okay, so we're going to have to do this without the shuttle docking to the space station. So it's going to have to free float next to the station. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and undock. And we'll go ahead and RCS away. Actually, turn off fine-tune controls. And RCSing away. Perfect. Okay. And we're going to stop us just about there. Turn us about. Perfect. And then we're going to jet backwards here. Okay, and then we're going to close that docking shield. And we're going to move away so that we have proper clearance to attach everything here. Moving nice and slowly here. Okay. And actually, it looks like we're lifting a little bit high up. Let's RCS back down just slightly. Let's go ahead and jet a little bit more away from the station. Oh boy. Okay. Later on, I think we're going to have to attach another docking module to one of these here so that we can extend it out. So that we can allow the shuttle to dock later on to the station. I really would like my shuttle to dock to the station before we begin prep work. Actually, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Why don't we go ahead and do our ghetto docking technique? Ghetto docking. We're using scientific terms here. And we're going to do what we did in the last episode, and we're going to use those pipe endpoints to dock us to the station. Our infamous ghetto dock. Okay, here we go. So first off, we need to come in pretty close so that we can attach everything accordingly. Okay, and we are coming in. Let's speed up time just a little bit here. Perfect. Okay. And. Oh boy. Oh boy. RCS back. Don't wanna love tap it. Okay, I think that's about as close as we're gonna get there, without smacking into it. Okay, perfect. And now, what we're going to do next is we're going to set up our workspace. Okay, let's do this, Bill, our resident space engineer. We're going to go into the toolbox here, and we're going to attach everything that we need to attach. Okay, Bill, it's all up to you now. Here we go. Lights on. And let's go and head on over to our toolbox. Okay, and very carefully, we're going to open up our container and we're going to get our pipe endpoint. Okay, and man, it's been so long since I've done this series, I completely forgot that we had all these Kerbal attachment system items available to us. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach this to the station. Perfect. What's really neat about these pipe endpoints is they essentially allow us to combine two separate vehicles together into one single part without the need to use a docking port, hence ghetto docking. Okay, and another pipe endpoint, and hopefully we're close enough to use struts too. Excuse me. Because after we attach these pipe endpoints, things are still going to be a little bit wobbly, unfortunately. Okay, and attach. Perfect. And link. And then we're going to link it to the other one. Link. Perfect. We're going to save. And what we're going to do is we're going to reinforce this connection hopefully before things start wobbling like crazy, by attaching our struts. So we're going to take a strut endpoint. There we go. And coming down to the shuttle, let's attach a strut right about here. Okay. Perfect. And then we're going to take another one. Oof. This one's going to be tough. Okay, and coming in towards our toolbox here. Come on, Bill, you can do it. Okay, and open container, and we're going to get the other strut endpoint. Perfect. And coming in to the shuttle, let's go ahead and attach the other strut endpoint. Attach. And let's put it, say, right there on the RCS thruster. And link it. And then we're going to link that. Whoops. Very carefully. Link. Link it. Perfect. Look at that. Let's go ahead and switch on over to our vehicle just to be sure. Look at that. Look how beautifully, almost semi-rigid that that is. Actually, that also means that we can open up our solar panels. Actually, let's leave our solar panels closed. We don't want to break anything off. Okay. And Bill, let's go ahead and set up our work light. Let me see here. Everything is really, really dark out here, so we need to set up proper work lights. So this would be a good time to save. So we're going to save. And let's grab a work light. Open up the container and get Illuminator Mark 1. And let's go ahead and set up our work light all the way to the back here. That should give us a nice wide beam to be able to see our work area. Okay, and there we go. Coming in nice and easy. Perfect. Okay, and let's go and attach our work light. And switch that around. Perfect. And then let's go and turn on our work light. On! Look at that. Woo! We can now work at night. Now's a good time to save yet again. Want to save quite liberally. Okay. And now we are ready to lift our fuel, RCS, and power module out of the cargo bay. So what we're going to do is we're going to head on over towards our assembler module. First off, let's go and check to see what the part count is. Right now our part count is 63 with everything attached together. What we want to do is, in order to keep things as efficient as possible, I want to try to keep us below 100 parts. And that's just with the station. It's actually 63 parts with everything attached to, including the shuttle itself. My aim is to make sure that we keep things down below 100 parts. Hopefully below 70, actually. Okay, now where is that hatch? Actually, it's way down at the bottom. Okay. And then head on to the hatch at the bottom. So there's a curious bug in this game that doesn't seem like it's still fixed yet. Kerbals don't have a problem grabbing onto the hatch normally when they're grabbing onto the hatch from above or from the side. However, when they're grabbing onto a hatch from below, there's always a higher percentage chance that the Kerbal will be flung off into space as a result of it. Unfortunately, he managed to grab the hatch in time before he was flung out. So When you're docking vehicles, be mindful where the hatch is located. You want to make sure that your exit hatch is either facing up, facing left, or facing to the right, but never facing down, like I have it here. Don't do that. Unless you really do want to fight against the physics of the game here. So let's go ahead and board. And now we will begin the process of assembling this vehicle. Let me see here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to undock and we're going to drift very slowly to attach ourselves to the vehicle accordingly and then reattach it to the top of the station. Yeah, but looks like we're running out of time, so we're going to do that in the next episode. Like I said, this is raw. If I was editing this and rendering this, we would actually get this whole mission done in the course of about 20 minutes with all the editing I'd be doing. However, unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of time to edit and render, so everything is going to be completely raw, for better or worse. You get to see all the Kerbal explosions and all the mistakes as a result as well. Until then, before we leave, let's go and turn off these engines here so we don't end up accidentally hitting the throttle button. Okay, engine shut down. Perfect. Okay. We'll go ahead and continue this in the next episode. Until then, mission is halfway accomplished. And fellow Kerbonauts, we will see you next time.